Hi there, how are you all, my little crafty friends? I have had such a day. My goodness, may I say it has been an interesting day. I tried to have most things ready for um, for the live today. I don't think I quite succeeded in that, so let's hope it all goes well. I do have the card created. It's one that we were going to do. That I said I would get the measurements for, and we would do it. One of my swap cards. Oh, what went on today and why was it such a day? Well, Harley, because I double booked my Wednesday, I couldn't take Harley out for his physical therapy treatment. Hi, Cindy, good to see you. So I couldn't take Harley out Wednesday. Oh, hi, Gladys, good to see you. Because I couldn't take Harley out on Wednesday, I double booked myself. I rescheduled him to when the vet had time, which happened to be this morning at 11 a.m. Now, my vet is about half an hour from here. So just drive time is an hour. And then there was his physical therapy, walking on the water treadmill, which he did really, really well. Hi, Hillary. So Harley has just been released from physical therapy because he is doing so good. As a matter of fact, he takes his emotional support stuffy with him, and I had it in my hands, and he jumped up and took it from me. So he was doing very well. He has been doing very well. So I am very glad to say Harley now does not have to go out every week. So we celebrated by going and getting a mocha for me and a pup cup for him, which he absolutely loved. Actually, it's a paid pup cup out at this place out by my vet's. But it's an 8-ounce cup filled with whipped cream, and then it has dog treats stuffed in it. So it's well worth, what, $1.50? Yeah, I'm really glad about Harley. Yay, Harley. I do need to get out and walk him a little more than I have been, but when it's freezing out, I don't want to go out because it actually irritates my asthma. But we have to get into a better exercise schedule. So y'all are my accountability partners. I've just made you that, or you've been elected to that position because I need to get more exercise. So I'm going to work up to a good half hour of exercise at least 5 days a week. But yeah, he enjoyed his pup cup. He had a wonderful time. He takes it and he holds it by the edge, and then he takes it in the back and lays down and puts it between his two paws and enjoys himself completely. Let's see. I'm going to... There we are. I'm just going to put my little face in here, make it small, put it down in the lower left so it's not in the way. So I'm really here talking to you. Okay, I'm going to switch this over because I want to talk about the cards. See, I did get back in time to do something. Card kits are going out to Cindy Grattan, Jan Bassett. Those were for commenting. And Lori Russell and Cindy Walker for sharing. So I will get those out tomorrow or Sunday. I'll drop them off. I'm not sure which. I can't put them out in my post office box. I have a nice little postal mailbox at the end of my driveway, but somewhere along the line, we must have signed up for delivery only, because when I put mail out there to be picked up, it has never been picked up there. It is waiting for me when I go collect my mail. So I have to drive to the post office to get my mail, to send my mail, which is not all that far away. Okay, so we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Oh yes, your son has asthma too? Yeah, it's I can go out, but if I'm exercising and I get really, really warm, so my internal temperature's high, warmed up, and then I'm breathing in cold air, it's not good for me. And so it's not super cold here, but it doesn't start to thaw out. I think just now I've got all the frost is gone. Oh, Cindy, you're welcome. And Cindy, both Cindys, you're welcome. So here's the card we looked at before. It's a little card, And then it's got this diagonal cut. And so I thought, well, this would be a fun one to make. And I've been wanting to use the mixed media another time, with, of course, a little wink of Stella, or a lot of wink of Stella. That might be a better way to put it. Yes, a lot of wink of Stella. So this is what I came up with. Now, I'm going to be honest with you because I picked one of the patterns that I really don't care for in the designer series paper. But it sets this off really well. So I'm very happy I used it. I decided to add a matte layer to it. So we've got the boho blue, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I've got a black matte, which starts out at 4 inches by 5 1/4. And the designer series paper is 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And then the card is 3 inches by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I've got a 2 3/4 by 4 inch white to set off the focal point and to write on, and then just a little strip that was left over. And in the card kits, there will be strips. Oh, I'm glad you like it. It's a fun card design, and it's not hard. But I think what we're going to do, this one has a lot of coloring and die cutting. So I think we're just going to put the card together and do the envelope. And then we'll get started and put the card all together and put everything on. So, starting out, here is my card base, boho blue. Can you believe that boho blue is an in color from last year? This is going to go out and no longer be available when we get the new catalog. I know, it's just crazy. Doesn't seem like we've had this long enough. So what I did, and this did not require measuring, it just requires a good paper trimmer. Mine needs cleaning. Try to forgive me for that. What I'm going to do is there is a little rut right here. Let's see if I can find something. Here it is. I have the old pokey tool. See, is it going down that rut? Well, you're going to find that indentation, and you're going to put your fold at that point with so you're going to cut on the left. So that'll be, this folds over. This part folds over. We're detaching this part. And we can use that, set it aside with our scraps and use it for something else. But you put the point into your little cutting groove. Hold it there. Make sure both are in that cutting groove. Carefully put this over. Because they're points and you want them to be points, you're going to want to start away from the corner and cut towards the corner. And then you have the base of our card. I think I'm going to do a little bone folder ironing. Because of the way I cut that, it kind of raised this edge, and so I want that to be down. And as long as I'm at it, I'm going to reinforce my fold. Now our next step is, let's work on that little card, because again, it's 4 1/4. No, it's not. It's 8.5, scored at 4 1/4 by 3 inches. And that's all ready to go. Our mat for the front is going to require a little more cutting. I've got lots of little pieces over here, so it's good to put these together. So you see, this is 4 by 5 1/4, and this is 3 3/4 by 5. So these are going to be really nice layering pieces. So I'm going to do the very same thing. I know that there's no real direction on this. But this could be done with directional paper too, if you wanted to. Okay, get those line corners lined up in the grooves. Oops. Don't want to mess my corner up. And then you just cut those. Yeah, I'm missing boho blue. It's been a good place in the color palette for us. So there you are, 2 pieces. We're going to use both of them. And we're going to do the same with our designer series paper. And I think it's a little easier to line up a color than it was to line up the black. That looks good. I squinched it a little, but I think that's fine. We'll move our cutting blade down and up or up and down, whatever works. And now we're going to take our little cutter out of the way. I don't think we're going to need to use it. It is a pretty color, and I don't think I've used it enough. As much as I like it, I have not used it enough. So here we are. It's going to have a narrow border around it. So I suggest using your Tombow glue. You'd think I would clean this up before the live, but truly today there was no time for that. Let me pull my silicone mat over. Everybody should have at least 1 or 2 of these. I have one that I put in a safe place because I made little tiny glue dots. And I'm not exactly sure where it is, but it's in a safe place, I guarantee you. The other side of this is just green. You could use the green if you wanted to, but I suppose you'd have to cut it on the green side so that the slant is the right way and the corners are correct. Okay, come on. It normally doesn't get plugged up. You'll be glad to know my hand is much, much better. Okay, if that's not going to cooperate with me, I have a regular Tombow just sitting right here, just waiting for me to use it. And if that doesn't work, I'll find my T-pin and take care of it. There we are. You don't want to use too much, but because you don't want it to dry, you need a little bit of wiggle room here. Well, I needed a little bit of wiggle room. I did find lining it up to be a little more difficult than I expected. But that one went well. Maybe not perfectly, but it looks pretty good. We'll do the other one. Here we go. So what is in your teacup today, or your mug, or your glass, or your whatever? I have got English breakfast tea. I don't like my tea really strong, so I get 2 or 3 cups of tea from a tea bag. I figured with the mocha plus the coffee I had this morning, I'd probably had enough coffee. So I thought a nice cup of tea would be good. Then we're just going to put this down flat. This one is our inside. And I might give that a teeny bit more of a border. Okay, here we go. Well, that would be too much of a border up there. That looks about right. Fold this one over and put the front on. Makes for a nice sturdy card. All these layers. That should stand up on your mantle or your friend's mantle when they're showing off their Happy Mail that they received. Let's just pull this over a little bit. Okay. Ooh, a mango flavored drink. That sounds good. Both Cindy Grattan also has mango and pineapple flavored water. Yum. Hillary Diet Coke. Actually, every once in a while, I like to have a good Diet Coke. All right, there we go. Our card base is together. So let's work on our little card. We are just going to put the two white pieces, one on the inside and one on the outside. If you wanted to, this would be a really good, if you were stamping on it, this would be the time to stamp on the front piece. But we are going to build up a nice, pretty little, I'm going to kind of bend that right there so I don't get too carried away with the glue. Did you notice I just tried to take the lid off this, which is sitting right here in front of me? Obviously not on the container. Okay, put this on. And there's not a huge amount of room, but I still like a little bit of white at the bottom. I like that look. We grab scissors, the non-ribbon scissors, and just use this as my guide to cut off the edge. Grab my Seal Plus. I used way too much there. And we'll put the inside in. And then we're going to put the outside on, or the front. That would be a better way to say that. Okay, here we go. Now, we're going to take this card and we're going to attach it to our card base so that it folds over the front. So basically, it's just centered on your card base. So let's go ahead and take our Tombow, our multi-purpose glue, because again, wiggle room is important. Let's see. I like not to get glue all over my fingers right at this moment. Put this on, kind of centering it up. Let's see how that looks. Oh, that looks good. Let's go ahead and press that down then. Give it a little back rub from the back. Oh, you like the white on the bottom too, Cindy? Yeah. I think it just sets off the card. So basically, our card is done. So let's go ahead and do our little trick with our envelope. Kind of bend the flap the wrong direction. We'll put our Tombow on it. And the size of designer series paper I use for the back is 2 3/4 by 5 15 sixteenths. No, 13 sixteenths. I believe is what it is. I should probably measure it again. No, it's 13 sixteenths. I'm sure of it. You just line it up with your edge. Rub it down. Give it a second or two to adhere. And then I have got the best memento tip for you coming up. It's a game changer, in my opinion. Okay, then we cut this off using our little flap for our guide. And here we go. So even though I told you it's cold here, we had to have beautiful sunshine. It is a gorgeous day. It is bright and cheerful out there. And I don't know, maybe if in an hour or two, I'll check the temp and see if I could just go out and do just one load of branches. I still have some branches in the way. My friend Lori was over. We were having a workshop last Monday. And when she came in, she came early to help me set up. And she noticed that, oh, Shirley, you're here. I am so glad. It's good to see your name. How are you doing? There are great sunsets. Okay, here's the one. I found one more disadvantage to moving out to making the new craft room is I'm no longer in a room that gets to see the sunsets. And if I'm not paying attention to what time of day it is, and if I'm just working away, having a great time creating, I miss the sunset. And so I've seen pictures of the sunsets. I just haven't gotten any myself. So I think tonight I'm going to have to get out there at the right time. Maybe I'll just go sit on the back deck. Oh, 58 degrees. That's a really good temperature. I like that temperature. Okay, our card is together. We're ready to go. Our envelope is done with a little bit on the front and the flap decorated. So now we are going to do some stamping. I'm just going to take a scrap, and because I'm stamping on with photopolymer stamps, I'm going to get my pierce mat and bring it over. We're also going to do a lot of die cutting. So we have some white here. I've got the large stamp with the 2 flowers. I have got the 3 little ladybugs. They are adorable. Here, let me pull them up. See those ladybugs? Aren't they cute? I really like them. And then we're going to have a sentiment. So I have got the sentiment, "You're pretty wonderful." And this all comes from the, I don't know, it's a mega suite because there's 2 full sets of 2 bundles, plus the paper. So we've got the mixed labels, which has our sentiments, a couple of little stamps, and dies. So I thought that would be fun. And then the mixed florals that goes with it. Doesn't have any sentiments, but it's got the adorable ladybugs and flowers. And this one, if you didn't want to use, I think is 2. 41 for Cindy Grattan. Oh, good. Hot, warmer than the last 2 weeks. You know how I like to I take my envelope and stamp kind of over it, so I've got some hanging down. That's just too small of a stamp. I decided not to do that with this one. But it's an idea. You could stamp. You could put a stamp on the front. If you color with blends on the front, be sure you put a little piece of paper in the envelope because blends leak. So if you're going to stamp it instead of put paper on it, just put a piece of typing paper or a scrap in there to protect the back of your envelope. Oh, thank you, Heidi. You joined us too. Oh, this is so exciting. Oh, Gladys, 19. No, I think it was about that this morning, but it's warmed up to not freezing. You've got the cold. How much snow do you have with that? Okay, here's my tip. I took, and I've seen others doing this, and I had an extra one sitting around, and I thought, oh, that's a really good idea. And then I didn't do it, and I didn't do it, and I didn't do it, and I didn't do it. A little procrastination there. But I took my white craft pad. When you buy the craft pads now, they come uninked. In the olden days, they were inked. But now they come uninked, and that with a bottle of the replacement ink, the refill. So what I did was instead of putting the white craft ink on it, because I have one, ooh, too much snow. I'm sorry. I inked it up with Memento Black. And you will notice I put Memento Black on several places on my, let's see, can you see that one? On this and on the front so that I don't get confused, because I am easily confused, you know. And it makes having it on the foam pad makes the inking so much easier. I think it's darker. It is. I just really love it. So let's put this on over here at the side. Just give it a little press all over to transfer that ink. Look how nice that came out. No grinding the linen pad into the stamp so that you get some coverage. This is what we're going to use for our sentiment. So I'm going to put it right here. Oh, I was looking all over for it and it was right in front of me. Let's ink it up. And this one you really don't need the the Pierce mat for. I just want to be able to place this pretty much where I want it, knowing I'm not going to have a problem with my flowers. Okay, and then we're also going to do our 3 little ladybugs. And I've got lots of room here for them. Oop, that one was upside down. We have the flying ladybug. We have the one without its wings up, just sitting there. And then this one kind of looks like it's maybe going to take off. So there we are. Close up the Memento, set it aside, and I'm bringing my blends because it will be easier to do our coloring when it's in a bigger sheet. So I'm going to take my dark Poppy Parade and color in my ladybugs. Much easier to color something that you can hold on to. And I'm not blending it. I'm just straight coloring. And as you know, it's hard for me to talk when I'm coloring. Okay, that's all I used. That is not all I used the Poppy Parade for. I used the Poppy Parade. These are cone flowers, I believe. And cone flowers come in many different colors. Oh, Hillary, I'm glad you like the Memento. It is so much easier to use, and the result is so much better. It is really worth it. So I'm going to just go with my light. Well, that was rude. Bad Poppy Parade. So if that happens to you, just pull it off and put it back on. It didn't break anything. It still works. It is, however, somewhat annoying. And I'm thinking that I really want the other side. And I'm just going to color it. I'm going to put a little of the dark up at the end. If there's a little white, try not to worry about it. It'll be fine. I know, I go back and I color. But a little white really kind of shows a little bit of where the light's hitting. this one. And depending on how much you want it to blend, if you let it dry completely, it's not going to blend very well. And sometimes that's what you want. So I'm just going to take this up and into just a little bit. Maybe do a little like that. And I'm going to want it to blend. So I'm just going to go over this little bit right here with the light, helping it to blend in. And we'll see the blending when it's dry. Not so much right now. This one, I just put the dark down, I let it dry, and then I came in and did the white, the lighter color. So it's not quite blended together. Oh, Heidi, you've seen that before. Yeah, I did it, and I am very glad I did it, and I don't know why on earth I didn't do it sooner. Especially since I had a white pad that was empty sitting here. That is because I couldn't find my old craft ink pad. Who knows what I did with it. But I did find it finally. And I am very happy that I did. Okay, here we go. Give it a little bit of, I'll use the other end. I'll use the pen end. I think I get a little more variation in it that way. And we'll go over that. And now we're going to put the Poppy Parade away and bring out Flirty Flamingo. And I decided that the centers here, which are normally brown, could be a different color, just to make this a light and pretty card. And I am just going to take the thin end of the dark Flirty Flamingo and I'm just going to dot. This is not anything that I want to blend in. I just want it to kind of be there. Now another color that goes really well with this, well, that was Calypso Coral, by the way. This is Flirty Flamingo. So I am going to just take the light, and I'm changing my colors around a little, but that's all right. Flirty Flamingo for the win on all the little flowers. That's the thing. Flowers can be your artistic expression. Use whatever you want. There they are. And I'm just going to do the dark, just a tiny bit in the center. Kind of around the black spot. And I'm going to let it sit there. I'm not going to blend that one in. And now we're going to the green. And I looked at the paper, and there are several colors of green. There's Granny Apple Green. There's Old Olive, which means I think Mossy Meadow would also be a color that you could use. But I went with the Granny Apple Green. And I decided I wasn't shading. Well, no, I guess I did shade a little bit. But I used the dark for the stems. And there's no shading on those. I'll take this down here and up. And I also used it on this part underneath. Just that little bit that's where the leaf is turned. And then down the middle where we've got the artist line here. I figure they know where shading should be. Then I'm going to come in with the light, go over. Oh, that was the dark. That was the light. Well, I'm backwards. So we're just going to leave it like that. Because again, it's a piece of artwork, right? And artists have some discretion. My leaves are now lighter on the underside and darker on the top. Oh, speaking of leaves, I do not know if my houseplants are going to survive their winter inside. I put them out every spring, probably about end of March, early April, and in my breezeway. They're protected, they get plenty of water, they're happy. And oh my goodness, Miss Susie Cute, in her, 9-month-old kitten ways, or 8 months, I'm not sure which, is shredding them. It was really cute when she was using the big peace plant in the other room for doing a little trimming here. Because I think I'd like to use my mini. Okay. Anyway, I woke up today and she's been so rough on it, that the leaves are hanging over like this on the ground. And she took and totally shredded 2 of the leaves. She is a problem child. Okay, putting my dye on. And you remember that my sandwich is a little different here. It's plate number 3 and then 2 number 2s. I am going to actually pop over and grab some tape. Look what I did to my little tape holder. It's got tape all over it. Because this is a repositional tape. It's at a low tack. It's really good for keeping things in place. It has to go up a little bit. Let's see. That looks pretty good. And because it's low tack and I can reuse it, I decided just to keep it on the tape holder. I actually did them all at one time on my larger Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. But this is so much easier to use here. Okay, grabbing my silicone mat. That's why you need 2. So you have one for your cutting. I have a bigger one that I have under my large cutting Stampin' Cut and Emboss. There we are. And I'm going to take those off and put them back to be used again. And here's the third one. This was just, I'm off camera, sorry. There was just so much stuff in the way. And here we have our flowers. We'll set that aside. And start working on our ladybugs and our sentiment. So I think sentiment gets first priority here. I think that looks pretty good. Let us tack that down. That's sideways. Let me look. Okay. Look straight down. Sorry if my head is in the way. There we are. And then I have these 3 little dies. Okay. There's 1 and 2. That one's this one. It is. And this is a little tedious because these are really little dies. That's the little one there. Grab a piece of tape. Okay. There's one. Here's, get another tape. Yes, it is a good thing Susie Cute is cute. It's also good that I have a smaller peace plant that's sitting up on my kitchen, kind of the little block in the middle. There's that one. Oh, she also digs in the dirt. She doesn't go to the bathroom in the dirt. She just digs in it for fun. So all the plants have been dug in, but only the large peace plant that I've had for many years has had the leaves devoured. Oh, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. I cut down one of my plants. I've got it up on a table. And I put, oh my goodness, I can't talk and do this at the same time. Okay, let's turn this around. Get it closer. Anyway, I've got it up. And the stalk is growing some new growth. Well, it was. Until it was pruned. Not that it needed it. But it was pruned by the kitty. So I'm not sure that one will survive either. Looking forward to March when I can put the plants outside again. I'm sure they're feeling the same way about it. Okay, here we go. Hope those are lined up well. Sorry that the table shakes, but it's not very deep, and so I had to put my camera stand on it. Okay, here we go. I think that one moved a little bit. It did. But it did get almost all of it. And maybe I can tuck it under something. Okay, here we go with the sentiment. I love this die. Look how pretty that design is. Is it going to? There it is. Isn't that a pretty design? I really like that. Oh, I'm glad, Cindy. Oh, well, Jan, hello. How are you today? We were talking about the cold, and then I started talking about Harley. He has had his last physical therapy. He's doing really well. Well, right now he's tired. He's sleeping, but yeah, the little dies are tricky. I tell ya. I think this one came out pretty well. Over here under the camera. The first one, not too great, but it's not the end of the world. And let's see, this one looks like it's off a little bit to the side, but okay, putting the dies into my magnetic dish because, have you seen my magnetic dish? I love having a magnetic dish. It holds the dies so nicely, and then they don't really go anywhere. It's a little small, could be a little bigger. There. Now it's got that one hooked down. How's that one? This one, moving the tape out of the way, moving the machine out of the way. My goodness. Oh, Jan, I need a card kit. It will be in the mail this weekend. See, not perfect, but not too bad. And if it really is bothering you, you can just take and kind of cut a little bit. Since this one will be flying, I'm just going to take a little bit of that off. Okay, now we can finish up our card. So here we are. Card's ready. I know it's got, because it's got this little loose, it's a little thicker maybe, but I just thought it needed dimensionals. So I grabbed the dimensionals, and while I don't want any sagging, I also don't want it to be so thick it doesn't go through the postal machines. It's not supposed to be going through postal machines. I put the hand cancel stamps on them, but just in case. Okay. And if you have trouble getting those little backings off, you can always just press them with your fingernail, and it's going to raise the edges, so it's even easier to get them off. I know a lot of people use their pokey tool to do that, but honestly, I can only get 3 or 4 at a time. Oh, you know what I forgot? Before we cover it up, let's make our flower sparkle. It just needs, since I'm using the bees as my embellishment, we just need sparkle on the card, because otherwise it might be boring. And we want to bring a smile to people's faces when we send it off. After all, it's a shiny little hug in the mail. Some are shinier than others. Okay, sparkle on the flowers. I think I'll wait till I put the bees on. I'll sparkle those once they're adhered. It's okay to overhang the focal point. But what I'm going to need to do is put some dimensionals on this end. So it's just sort of overhang the edge of that little card. And this is going to go on to the flower. Okay, here we go. You're pretty wonderful. I like that sentiment. So it's flatter here, but it's raised up here, so it's the same level as the rest of the card. And then with the little tiny bees, they're not bees, they're ladybugs. With the little ladybugs, I am going to use the small dimensionals. That's not them. Here we are. Small dimensionals. I think I wish I had my pokey tool handy. It's hiding again. So I'm going to use the old pokey tool to help me get this down. I wonder what I did with my pokey tool. Come to think of it, I have not seen it today. So I'm putting my dimensionals right there in the middle. Cindy, I'm glad you and I both like our sparkles. And then I will take off this is I'm going to pretend he's sitting right here on the sentiment. The flying one is this one. It is done with the flowers and it's taken off. And our third one, which is starting to fly off, or maybe it's coming in for a landing. I'm not sure which. Is going to tuck that extra white space under a flower. Come on. It's going to go up in here and it's going to tuck under here so that we don't see that we messed up the alignment. I messed up the alignment, okay? I admit it. And of course, because they're ladybugs, they really do need to sparkle. And there we have our card. So it's not a hard card to make. You just have to be careful with your diagonal cuts. You have to know what direction the mat is in so that you cut from left down to right, because that gets this lovely right angle here. And just design something pretty for the front. And really, it's a very small area to decorate. And it's got a lot of nice room to write, a little bit of room to write. If you need more room to write, you can always write it, because it's boho blue, it's light. You can continue your message over here. And you've got your pretty envelope. What more could we ask for? I'm glad you like it, Cindy. Thank you. Oh, your favorite color is purple. That's where I got the biggest one in purple. I got it from a place called the Country Hive. And I think that that's the one who owns it is the daughter of Susan Campfield. So I love it. Oh, thank you, Gladys. Thank you, Hillary. I do like it. And when I started out looking at this designer series paper, my first thought was, I am never using that. So I'm glad that I did it because I found I like it. And there was our inspiration card. And now I thought if we have just a few minutes, I want to show you the happy mail I received. Jeanette sent me this lovely card front. Isn't it pretty? I love this paper. I'm not sure what paper it is, but I love it. It is so pretty. Thank you, Jeanette. It does open up. Let's see. And it's got a little sticky note. It's got some pretty paper. Looks like it's this part of the paper with a little bit of flour on it. Here is a card from my friend Dina. Here's my friend Dina. She's going to come out to Washington State. She used to live here. And then she left me for Murfreesboro, Tennessee. She and her family, and they've all grown up. And so she sent me a nice, pretty thank you card. I sent her some See's fudge. Or See's candies. A card from my friend Tracy Held in Australia. You'll notice, I talk about measurements being different, but our cardstock is fatter and shorter. This drives me. And theirs is taller and thinner. So there really is a conversion problem. And this stamp is going to my friend Daphne because her husband collects stamps. So I'm going to cut off stamps for her. Here is one of the swap cards. It's one of those diamond, very cool looking cards. Isn't that cute? And they're not as hard to make as they look. So maybe I will work on one of those. I think it's been 6 months since I did that tutorial. If not, that's okay. We're going to do it. Not next week, though. Oh, gotta tell you, there's no live next week because I'm going to be out at Birch Bay with some friends, and we have to check out at 10 on Friday. We don't get to do a whole week this year because somebody, that would be me, absolutely forgot to get the reservation, and I couldn't get a whole week. So we're Monday through Friday. Now look at this. This has got a double diamond. Isn't that cool? And then it opens up and kind of stands like this. Very cool. And there's a place to write on the back. This one was Sarah. She did a great job. This one was Sue's card. Very nice. We could just have a diamond day or a pointy day. And then the last one I wanted to share was also, I believe, oh, this is a thank you card for my friend Debbie. Isn't that cool? And I love the way she played with the ribbon or the thread and took it all apart. And it's got a little these are half circles to make that design. So 3 different designs of designer series paper. It looks like the green and gold. Anyway, very cool. I love it. Anything else anybody wants to know while I'm here? I hope every time I lost something and found it again, that you got a drink so that everybody is hydrated. I should have. I still don't know. I do not see anywhere on this table my pokey tool. So I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to go make up the card kits for this card. I've got it started. It's just not done yet. And then I will see you in 2 weeks. And I'll try to have something special. Something, a fancy fold. Anyway, have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend. A wonderful 2 weeks. And I will see you 2 weeks from today at 2 o'clock